प्रभुपाद की जय, दादा वल्लभ की जय, गुरुनाथ उदा महाराज की जय। His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj Prabhupada Mahotsav ki jai. Hare Krishna. So, very good evening. Thank you for joining us today. It's a very auspicious occasion for all of us to have this Prabhupada Mahotsav. So we are trying to share memories of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj. And we have many daughter Vaishnavas here. To begin with, we have Her Grace Indulekha Maharaja. I think she's one of the dearmost disciples of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj. So we would like to hear from her, and also we requested that she could begin with today's this ceremony with her heartfelt sharing, so that we all can be enlightened. Thank you, dear Mother. Hare Krishna. Over to you. Raise the volume because it's not coming. You speak. You start speaking and when you speak, make sure you.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you so much for coming to glorify my dear Guru Maharaj, Gopal Krishna Goswami. Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Dinamani Prabhupada Sisakitamiya Prakasya Vitiricha Pracharam Kritavam Sadvapagavat Padartini Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Dinamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishisha Shunyam Hadi Pashyatati Shatarani. So last Sunday we got a news that our dear Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj left this world, and that day I just didn't know how to go on. But Guru Maharaj gave me very clear instructions to always stay in association with devotees and to always do service in the temple, at least a little bit. He said that's my lifeline. So when everything seemed to be falling apart, devotees reached out to me. I found out I have new family. I mean, they're not new family. They moved here from San Diego, my dear godbrother and godsister. And we decided to meet in the temple. So, again, Guru Maharaj, even on that day, his instructions helped me to get through. And when we got to the temple, when you start serving deities, first you say a prayer, dear spiritual master, please let me assist you in serving Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So it became clear to me that this is the way to go on. So I beg Guru Maharaj to please give me a drop of mercy so I can stay faithful to your instructions. I can stay in association with devotees, and I can always be attached to some temple as you instructed ISKCON temple. All glories to Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for amazing offering. Now we would like to invite His Grace Manmohan Shampru to deliver his offering.
Hare Krishna. So, Hare Krishna. So, we are seeing that from last 1 week, how in all the temples in India or in all over the world, the His Holiness Gopal Maharaj's celebration is happening. So, we can understand from his life that how His Holiness Gopal Maharaj life is a perfect example for all of us. Like Acharya, when he lived his life, he is teaching by example. After living the life also, he set the example that so that the others followers can follow his example. So we can see that the life of His Holiness Gopal Maharaj. The day he met his spiritual master Srila Prabhupada, that day onwards, he got so many instructions, and throughout his life, at the end of his life, he followed all the instructions very seriously. As we see the example of Bhishmadev. So at the end of his life, although he was in the sleep in the lying on the bed, arrow bed, so still he was speaking the glories of the Supreme Lord and so much instruction. Similarly, we see the life of his divine grace, S.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Srila Prabhupada. When he was living the life, at the end of his life, devotees are putting one drop of a milk, but Prabhupada was giving, whose mouth is full of the instruction. At the end of his life, he is telling that, we are not this body, we are a soul. And similarly, we see the His Holiness Gopal Maharaj. Many of us saw the video that when he was lying on the bed, but still doing worship of the Lord. Because throughout his life, he completely dedicated to worship the Supreme Lord and followed the example of Srila Prabhupada has given. Like, I am very fortunate that I am from Pune, so His Holiness Gopal Maharaj comes every year from last many years in Pune. So we have got such an opportunity to see from our eyes to see these examples. Now I just share that whatever lectures he gives, especially on the Vyas Puja day, I have seen that Maharaj gives lecture in the form of instruction to his disciples. And his instructions are very clear. It's like what Prabhupada gives instruction to his disciple, same instruction you will find. That what his instructions are like, living in the association of devotees, chant sincerely, read Prabhupada books every day, 2 hours, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, and do services in the mission of the Srila and live throughout his life. So these are instructions almost in every lectures. So these not only giving instructions, but he followed his whole life. Like Prabhupada gave him first time, when he met first time with Prabhupada, then Prabhupada saw that he's the first person from the India had come. So he told him, he gave the books, he told him to just translate this in Hindi language. So whenever he comes, Gopal Maharaj to go to meet to Prabhupada, he always carry one small books which he translated in Hindi language. If he is not translated, he don't go to meet. And then after then, Prabhupada saw him that he is such a dedicated and gave him the service of GBC throughout the whole India. And then he told him the instruction to make this big temples become GBC and print books and distribute it. So in this way, till the end of his life, he was following that. And we have seen that how in Pune also, the Pune big temple came NVCC because of much of the His Holiness Gopal Maharaj only, he was so much pushing that to devotees, please make big temple because the devotees are increasing in the temple. And same thing, all the temples is in the big temples, Jew temple and Delhi temple. Delhi, we saw that last time, 12 temples are there. They all are very big temple. And in Vrindavan temple. So I am finding myself very fortunate. I have very nice association of His Holiness Gopal Maharaj. So thank you very much that I have got a chance to speak about something. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. It's great to know Shampoo. Now we request His Grace Radha to go through the offering. And before that, we'll be actually now moving towards that way, towards the Lordship. And Prabhu, if you can just give the offering just near the television. So, near the television, so we can face towards the Lordship.
Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai. So I'll just recite some of my recent experiences. So I always had desire to actually attend the Vyas Puja of Maharaj in Delhi. It usually happens there. So
thing I observed that it was so difficult for Maharaja even to sometimes like put the dhoti to Bajita or to Bas. But I could see with so much of affection and love he was doing that. And he would just put like this, and then his disciple would actually put it. So I could see that how Maharaja was so wanting to personally serve. Even the disciples can easily do everything. So disciples are just there to assist somehow, but Maharaja personally is Prabhupada, personally put dhoti and he would try not able to do much. Then disciple would take and he would do like that. So I was seeing that how much he is eager to personally serve, like that. Like how we hear the Lajit Puri, personally went to fetch and from where he was. So he had that kind of mood. And then I read from Maharaj. So that day Maharaj somehow could not attain. He could not attain this Mangalati Nasamati. So then I had to sing. So I sang the entire thing. Mangalati Nasamati Tulsi Arati. And Maharaj told repeat again. Tulsi Arati. Then I repeat again. I sang everything. Then again I repeated. Then again I sang the Tulsi Arati. And then I was reading Radharani book. The Radhashri was coming. So then Maharaj asked, "You are reading so slow. Why are you reading so slow?" So I was thinking I should read slowly so that Maharaj while doing service can hear. So I shared with one senior devotee in Pune. He said, actually Maharaj is too good in English and he may very easily understand everything. But I was thinking that Maharaj is actually hearing so well. That he's telling pretty fast because I can hear and I want to hear more, so don't need to do slow. Maharaj told like that. And then also I told about our services coming to Boston and Dr. Maharaj. Then Maharaj also inquired some things about Boston and everything. So that was a very good experience. And I told his personal servant, I was sick, all those days. I was having fever and all that. So I was practically on this thing, on bed and all that. So then I told his personal servant that wherever you find any opportunity, please give me Maha of Maharaj when it's possible. So then almost every day. So not every day 2-3 times I get 2-3-4 times sometimes. So that person servant was so merciful on me. So I'd lie down, I was in high fever, and then get up and see some Maha. Then I'd eat Maha, and then again I'd take this. After some time I'd get up again and see another Maha. So I got a lot of mercy of Maharaj that way. So I felt there's some special divine arrangement by which I could get a lot of mercy of Maharaj. Some other thing which really inspires me of Maharaj is his very simplicity. It's very simple. If you see his classes also, it is not that he's going to give something like some very new information or something you want to do. No, he will repeat the instructions that Maharaja Shambhala was saying, Shambhala instructions, which are the core thing. Like I've seen many times, many questions are asked different ways. Maharaj many times will answer of attentive chanting. He will say, chant attentively. He will always say that. Because that is a root thing, that is we have to work on. So we can see that how the pure devotees are so direct and they are just wanting to take us the medicine. They don't want to just beat around the bush. So we can see Krishna Maharaj that how we always emphasize on this. When Krishna was also telling that Maharaj was asking him that how your chanting is going on. So it's very difficult. Sometimes we ask, how are you, how's your health and everything. But then it's very rare to find somebody asking how you are doing chanting. Not so easy. And we will not ask this question many times. So Maharaj is always focused upon that how all these disciples should chant. And everyone in ISKCON should chant Mahamudra very nicely. And reading Prabhupada books. I heard Maharaj tells, if you read 2 hours of Srila Prabhupada books, Maharaj will not catch you. He says like that. So Maharaj is always focused. And Maharaj's one very favorite pastime is Madhyapuri pastime. I came to know that. So and I have heard also Madhyapuri how he so much works hard to get the center for the Lord, so much of personal endeavor. So Maharaj, so much of relationship tells this pastime every time. And we can see Maharaj's life also. Very tirelessly he serves. Very tirelessly. He hardly sleeps. He hardly sleep. We've seen Pune. It would be like 8, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. Some of my friends would come. So from where you coming? Oh, we were just massaging Maharaj, and it was like 12 o'clock, midnight, 1 o'clock. Like that Maharaj would go late night. And then he would say sometimes to his disciples or some senior disciples. So yes, very late. Maybe tomorrow you may not come. You may take this. I am also planning not to come. And then you see next day he's in the altar. In the altar he's worshipping, like that. So you can see how Maharaja's way of tirelessly serving is something unimaginable. It is like unanswerable. He's so available for everything. It's a management meeting. Like when Maharaj had this departure last time also, we see that how Maharaj was there for bureau meeting in Dehradun. So while doing a service, I think he had some ceremony also for the temple opening, some stone coronation or something. So Maharaj was in that kind of health also, and we see how Maharaj personally, will go down and he will do all that. So once Mohan was telling, you see, Maharaj is so rigid about these things, bowing down to the Lord, worshipping the deity. Somebody might think, is he on very, is it like very sadhana and all that, something like that. Then Mohan was saying, actually, great souls, they are able to so tirelessly serve and they're setting such example because externally they don't want to show. But actually, you see, nobody can do like this. Who can do? So it is only because of their spontaneous attraction to the Lord, they are able to actually tirelessly serve with so much of capacity. They have so much of love to His Guru and the Lord. So, but externally, pure devotee, they will also act like, following the rules and regulations so strictly. So this is how one was saying that you cannot understand the platform on which they are actually like that. So personally, I feel very inspired by Maharaja such an example. It's like an example of a samadhi. All the time serving Prabhupada is Prabhupada's man. Maharaj, I have heard that he says to his disciples also, just hear Prabhupada lectures. He says, and he says everything in Prabhupada books, just read Prabhupada books. So this is how Maharaj has been so focused on Prabhupada's teaching and serving in ISKCON, chanting Hare Krishna Maha. So I feel very inspired by his such perfect example of a very ideal follower Srila Prabhupada. So I seek his blessings that I can also invite that sincerity, following his footsteps of sincerity and some mood of being dedicated to Srila Prabhupada like that. I beg at the feet of, at the holy lotus feet of Gopal Krishna Maharaj. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Thank you so much, our group, for this amazing offering. So from now on, actually, we'll start ringing a bell for at 4-minute mark. Just because I know no one can actually stop when we are glorifying a pure devotee like His Holiness Gopal Maharaj. But in the interest of time, we have limited time, so we'll ring a bell at 4. So you don't have to stop instantly. You can start wrapping up. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Now I request His Grace Viraj Krishna Prabhu to offer.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Dinam. Prabhupada is society of Prakashan So Maharaja accepted me as his disciple 2 years ago in 2022 October. So earlier that year, back in India, I had received admit for studying over here at Northeastern University. My master, Maharaja was there in Mumbai, so naturally my parents took me to temple to meet Maharaj, and we told that we have received this admit and I'll be going to Boston. So when Maharaj heard about Boston, he was like, "You're going to Boston? We have a temple over there. You should stay over there." And then he asked me, "How far is the temple from the university?" Then I pulled out my mobile and I saw that it was a 10-minute drive. And when he heard that it was a 10-minute drive, he told, "You definitely now have to stay over there." And then he called his personal assistant and he told him to put me in touch with some people from Pune, because at that time devotees from Pune were in touch with people over here. And then eventually, because of Maharaja's mercy, one Prabhu over here, I even talked to my parents, talked to Raghu Prabhu and Ramchandra Prabhu. Eventually, I was able to find shelter over here. Then fast forward a few months, there was some situation over here due to which Vanmali Prabhu inspired me to seek initiation from Maharaj. And when I expressed the desire towards Maharaj, actually Maharaj was very, I would say, he agreed to give the initiation in just 1 week. Actually, he arranged everything in a short week. He had my beads delivered over here. He came online. He gave a short lecture, he initiated, and it was so quick. I was just awestruck by how wonderful it was and how quickly he agreed to just initiate me. Even after the initiations, despite being so busy and having such fragile health, he would find time often to come online on Zooms and spend time with the disciples. And whenever I used to meet him, either personally when I had gone back to India last year or virtually, he used to ask me, how is your health? How are your studies going? Are you chanting properly? Are you able to manage the schedule, the temple schedule, your studies and chanting properly? Are you not feeling stressed out? So these small things add up, and I was thinking, he's such a person, he himself is in such fragile state of health, and he's more concerned about my health rather than thinking about himself. So that was one thing which was common towards all disciples. He had the same feeling towards all disciples. He was extremely personal with all of them, and he not only looked after their spiritual well-being but also their material well-being, so that they could be more focused in their sadhana and do their spiritual duties properly. So today I would just like to say that I'm here to just seek blessings of and forgiveness from all the Vaishnavas over here, and blessings that I may continue to serve my Maharaj and
Haribo. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Thank you so much, Viraj Prabhu. Now we request His Grace Padamani Prabhu to come and deliver his offering.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki Jai. So I had very few interactions with Maharaj. I remember seeing Maharaj first time when I was just introduced to Krishna consciousness. I think the second year when I was in 13. So we had gone to Mayapur, and that time Maharaj was there, and the best way to know if Maharaj is at certain place is to just go in the morning program and look at the altar, and you will see if Maharaj is there. That is the best. You don't have to ask anyone if Maharaj is present in any place. So all the time when we were there, I think for 1 week, we saw Maharaj every day worshipping in the altar, and we had a good fortune to listen to one lecture of Maharaj. I remember that time also Maharaj, his health was a little better, but still I would see that he was very low, and I think his health that time was not that good. So, but he was extending himself, and still he considered to give us class. So that was my personal interaction. Not one-on-one, but at least I was fortunate to get darshan of Maharaj. And then I actually heard many glories of Maharaj over the years, and now also very recently. So I would just like to share a few of the inspiring glories of Maharaj. So Maharaj is called Prabhupada's man. He is always representing Prabhupada, and he took instructions of Prabhupada to his life and soul. Prabhupada, he was studying, I think, marketing something in France and Canada somewhere, Montreal. So Maharaj told him that you use all your skills, marketing skills, to distribute Prabhupada books. And we know what revolution Maharaj has created after this. He has distributed crores and countless books, Prabhupada books. Made so many temples, 17 temples, and I think more. In Delhi only there are 80 temples. So once devotee asked Maharaj that give me one instruction so that I can continue in Krishna consciousness. And Maharaj gave him that when someone criticizes you, just tolerate. And then that he was telling that I didn't understand that instruction's value that time, but over the years I could understand that is what kept me in Krishna consciousness. And then he was saying that after he joined he went to Maharaj and Maharaj asked him, so how is your Krishna consciousness going on? All these recordings I just heard. So this devotee, he said that yes, Maharaj is going very good. I am attending morning program, reading Bhagavatam for 2-3 hours, having nice prasadam. So it's very blissful. Krishna consciousness is very blissful. And Maharaj said, are you mad? I am taking so much anxiety here to make devotees. And you are just enjoying Krishna consciousness like this thing. So Maharaj said that we should take some responsibility to preach Krishna consciousness, and then sharing that how later that inspired him and he met so many devotees. And recently that video which came of Maharaj worshipping, deity worship, I was just hearing one offering in which the person servant who released the video, he was telling that when generally he used to go to Maharaj's room in the night, so he used to leave his phone out of the room because it rains and Maharaj should not get disturbed. He was telling that it's not the only time, it's not the only time when he saw Maharaj actually did a lot of times, like he always in the sleep he said Maharaj is absorbed and he does see multiple times, but one time they got chance to record. And my last pastime was this shared by Manmohan Shampro. So earlier in India, I think Jew was first in book distribution, and then Delhi temple was first for a few years, and then Pune temple started, I think, for last few years was the first. So when this was told to His Holiness Maharaj that this Pune temple is first and all these great statistics, so Maharaj said it's not a surprise. The temples are changing, but His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj always first, because he is GBC of all the 3 temples. So wherever Maharaj is, in whichever temple, there that temple will be first in book distribution. And then Maharaj has, I'll just not stop till the bell rings, but and Maharaj is very good at, and when Maharaj speaks and anything, he just scans the other person. So there are many devotees sharing that devotee had something in their mind and they wanted to share it with Maharaj. And when they went in front of Maharaj, Maharaj immediately asked them the same question. Like one devotee wanted to, I think, change. So he was thinking how to tell to Maharaj, how to tell. And then when he went to Maharaj, offered everything, Maharaj asked, so do you want to change? Like something like that. And whenever, so on the auspicious day, it's very difficult to stop the glorification. But on the auspicious occasion of memorial of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, I pray, I beg at his lotus feet that may I get some drop of his determination, his chastity, his loyalty to Srila Prabhupada, in serving Prabhupada so tirelessly. We cannot do that much like him, but we can just follow in his footsteps and just try to do whatever is possible by his mercy. So His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki
Jai. Yes, truly we cannot stop actually, but we have time, I'm sorry. So now we will request His Grace Ram Chandru and Her Grace Sri Priya Mataji to give their offerings.
Hare Krishna. Yes, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Jai. It's a great privilege to hear the grace of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. It's my first time I got to hear from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was when I had once come to Pune and there was a big pandal program in Kujivai temple. So whenever Maharaj used to come, there used to be huge temple, thousands of devotees would be there in the pandal program, and Maharaj would emphasize on chanting the holy names of the Lord, doing book distribution, and another favorite pastime of devotees was also to receive gifts from Maharaj, especially after book distribution. Someone does a very nice book distribution, they will get advices from Maharaj.
So then that was one time, but then I got to hear more and got to associate with Maharaj disciples more when I went to Kanpur for my education. So there, Maharaj used to come and there were very few devotees. So I saw that Maharaj was very kind to devotees and also especially to his disciples. It was not uncommon to see Maharaj in the early morning going on morning walks with his disciples and doing doing personal question and answers, and he would remember how Srila Gopal used to go with his disciples. And I also got the opportunity to enter into his room, and there Maharaj was, and I was extremely overwhelmed because I had never seen such beautiful deities of Gauranga or any deities, and how intricately Maharaj was offering worship. And I also realized and came to know from devotees that His Holiness Gopal Goswami was also the first Indian body disciple after establishment of ISKCON. So, one more thing is following of etiquette. When it comes to following etiquette, His Holiness Gopal Goswami is so particular, and I keep hearing this from different postings, videos of how Maharaj, even in his fragile health, he never fails to bow down to devotees, offer pranams to deities, doing deity worship, taking so less rest. And also I heard from many devotees and godbrothers of Maharaj, like His Holiness Swami Maharaj, Shyam Sundar Prabhu, about how with so much great care Maharaj would take care of them. And I'm also extremely grateful to Maharaj because, and also grateful to his personal secretary, that because of his kindness, my younger daughter's Annapashan also happened by Maharaj. So I'm extremely grateful to Maharaj for that, for this kind memory, because these memories is something we could treasure for life. It is also no doubt that Maharaj is there's a big contribution of bringing ISKCON India especially to a very good stature. For everything, any big event happens, you always get messages from the President of India, Prime Minister of India. Even if I remember that there was some significant concerns, I believe in Russia where Bhagavad Gita was being banned or burnt, and the President of India actually intervened, and that was primarily because of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And there's no doubt, Maharaj is always known as Prabhupada's man. Somewhere I heard, I do not know the exact statement of what Srila Prabhupada said, but because there, essentially the mention was, we can know about a devotee by how many temples they have built, how many books have been distributed, and how many devotees have made. So when it comes to this contribution, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj's contributions are extremely unprecedented. I was also hearing some more statistics that Maharaj has served in ISKCON for 57 years. He was about to complete 50 years as a GBC member. So, and also I heard from His Holiness Swami Maharaj offering, and also Shyam Sundar Prabhu's offering, that when Srila Prabhupada left, disappeared, there were close to 8 centers in India. And now there are close to 700 centers which are offering their account statements to their headquarters in India. And from 8 to 700, and a big portion of the contribution is from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So, for my respectful obeisances, His Holiness prostrated obeisances to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna. So I have prepared a small offering. So we have heard this Vaishnava song, Ek Baar Karna Karo Vaishnava Goswami. So in the third paragraph it says, Sparsha Hoje Pashchat Pavan, Darshani Pavitra Karo Ek Tumaro. So it means that after taking bath in the waters of sacred river like Ganges many times, one is purified. But just by taking darshan or just by having a sight of a Gosai or a Vaishnava, one a fallen soul becomes purified. That is the greatness of a Gosai. So personally to me, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was that kind of Goswami, that kind of Vaishnava. So His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was the first ISKCON sannyasi like whom I have ever seen, met or heard in person. That's because I'm from Kanpur and he was GBC over there. So it actually, I had this privilege and fortune to have his association quite some times because I got to see him in Kanpur and Vrindavan. Maharaj, he was very simple, always like very easily available and approachable. It was like Ramachandra Prabhu told that Maharaj would go for Java walks, and devotees could just tag along, like you don't require like prior permissions or whatever. And also Maharaj would very mercifully allow devotees to come to his room and take darshan of his deities, and Maharaj would speak for some time and also give them prasadam. Maharaj is a pillar, is the most, I would say, prominent pillar, one of the most prominent pillar of ISKCON, and he has served tirelessly in practically every leadership capacity to support and expand the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada from the very beginning, he was very much interested in Maharaj, and he gave him initiation, and then he became GBC of India, and also Maharaj was so dear to Srila Prabhupada that Srila Prabhupada actually entrusted him with the most important service, the service that was so dear to his heart, that is printing of his transcendental books. Maharaj has been an emblem of book distribution, building magnificent temples and initiating thousands and thousands of devotees. And there are so many people who take inspiration from Maharaj. Despite Maharaj had such a great position, he was very simple, humble, and he really had genuine love, affection for the devotees and disciples. So I was hearing somewhere, one disciple of Maharaj was sharing that Maharaj has so much love for his disciples that once Maharaj was traveling in car with some of his disciples, and it got late for some reason, and these disciples were really hungry. So Maharaj asked them, "Are you guys hungry?" So they said, with some hesitation, they said, "Yes, Guru Maharaj, we are hungry." So Maharaj asked the driver to stop the car, and then he came out of the car and he went to a street vendor, and then he spread out his chadar and was begging for give me some sweets. And this street vendor, he was so mesmerized looking at Maharaj and his personality, he offered the whole cart. He said, "You can take the whole cart." And devotees, they were so moved, they were in tears. It is we have heard many times that his disciples go out begging for Guru, but here, where will you get such a Guru who goes begging for his disciples? So he was such a personality. Although Maharaj was very simple, but he was extraordinary in all the ways. Maharaj was a great, I have heard this from many of his disciples, that he was a great face reader. Was great face readers, and I heard from many of his disciples that he had lot of siddhis, although he never showcased them in public. But he would sometimes use them for serving his disciples. And this was shared by one of the brahmacharis back in Kanpur. So he was sharing that actually Maharaj was in Kanpur for a GBC meeting, and he had got the service of taking care of GBC prasadam. So one afternoon he walks into Maharaj's room and with a plate of prasadam, and Maharaj asks him to keep the prasadam on the table, and then Maharaj goes inside the restroom to wash his hands. So Maharaj, before going to the restroom, he removes his watch and puts that watch on the table. And this brahmachari, when he looks at Maharaj's watch, he saw that this is a Rolex watch, and he's a bit doubtful that a sannyasi and a Rolex watch, it didn't make any sense to him. So Maharaj comes out, he looks right into the face of this devotee and says, "Well, do you like my watch? You can have it. Actually, Srila Prabhupada gave it to me." And this devotee, he froze. It's just like Maharaj knew what he was thinking. And so he was sharing this. Also, I heard somewhere that there was once a devotee who was very depressed and he was getting suicidal thoughts. So, but Maharaj just walks to his room and he opens the door, and then he offers obeisances. He sees that Maharaj is there, so he offers obeisances to Maharaj. And then as soon as he got up, Maharaj says, "If you commit suicide, you are going to become ghost in next life." And this devotee started crying. He's like, "Oh, how did Maharaj knew all that?" And later on, yes, he told that it was that particular day that he has decided that he's going to commit suicide, but Maharaj saved him. Okay. So although Maharaj has so much compassion, for devotees and his disciples. My mother also shared with me that sometimes the initiating committee, it becomes a bit strict about giving initiation, and they were just making it difficult for people to pass and all that, and then somehow this news reached Maharaj, and then Maharaj actually requested those devotees who were in the initiation committee, "Can you make it a bit easy? Not make it so hard. Please be compassionate on people." this is Kali Yuga. So His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he will always remain in our heart eternally for the services he has rendered, and his services are matchless. I would pray at the lotus feet of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj that he bless me with the drop of dedication, sincerity, and focus he has to serve Srila Prabhupada mission. Although the void that is created by his physical disappearance can never be fulfilled in our hearts and in our society. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai.
So now we request His Grace Krishna Goswami and Her Grace Priya Gopal to defer their offerings.
Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Gopal Krishna Goswami Nami Prabhupadasya Sahitya Prakashaya Bhutaleja Yasaya Kritvam Saya Bhagavad Padaya Mano Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswati Devi Bhagavani Chari Nirvishesha Shantrimadi Pasha Deshari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna everyone. So today I will share two incidents. It's not like an incident, it's a sweet memory for me with Guru Maharaj. So 2-3 years back we went to India. We met Guru Maharaj regarding my Prabhu Purushottam Prabhu initiation in Juhu temple. We were supposed to meet him in Delhi, but due to cold weather, due to Mumbai, so we also flew there. So we met there in Juhu temple. So Guru Maharaj and my Prabhu having conversation about initiation and asking about him. And in between the initiation, my daughter, Bharani, she was crying, she's cranky a little bit. So I was about to leave the room because it was disturbing a lot. So Guru Maharaj asked me, what happened, why she's crying? So I said, I think Guru Maharaj, she's tired due to traveling. So he said, no, she must be hungry. You go and cook for her in my kitchen. So he was so caring, and he asked his personal servant, Damodar Prabhu, that he can help me in the kitchen to finding the ingredients. So he also asked me what she liked the most. So I said, Guru Maharaj, he liked Dalia Khichdi. She loved Dalia Khichdi mostly because she was around 9 to 10 months old. So I went to the kitchen and I cooked for Bharani, and that time I had a thought that if I also get an opportunity to cook for Guru Maharaj in his kitchen. So that desire came into my mind. So after that, after having conversation, he asked my Prabhu and me that if we can spend time with him in Khagra temple. His initiation was in Khagra. So we went there, spent time with him, and we both went there, and I went in the kitchen of Guru Maharaj to cook for my daughter. Then I was cooking there, and there is one Mataji who was head cook for Guru Maharaj. So they are cooking for Guru Maharaj, they are cooking very delicious items. So no doubt, but I was also cooking. So I asked her if I can get dalia. So dalia, so she said, no Mataji, we don't have dalia. So we have rice. Today if you can manage with rice and make rice khichdi for your daughter. So I thought, okay, it's fine. So I will make today rice khichdi. So then I asked her if you have moong dal. So she said, no, we don't have moong dal. So I requested her if you can arrange. So she said, okay, Mataji, I will arrange for you. She asked Prabhu, and he went. So he said, okay, I will arrange for moong dal. So I was waiting there, and they are also cooking, and I'm standing and waiting for the moong dal. So after a while, Prabhu gave that moong dal, and I cooked moong dal khichdi, rice khichdi. Then they also cooked nicely dosa and all very nice item they cooked for Guru Maharaj. Then Damodar Prabhu come there and asked that Guru Maharaj is ready for the dinner. If you have your food is ready, Prashadam is ready, it is ready for the dinner. So Mataji said, yes, Maharaj, yes, Prabhu, everything is ready. So he saw that everything is very ready because it was late night. I think 9, I don't remember the time, but I think 8:30 or 9 o'clock in the night. So Prabhu said, so it is very heavy for Guru Maharaj because it is late night. So he saw that I made khichdi. So he did not ask me directly. He asked Mataji if she can ask me and I can give him some khichdi for Guru Maharaj. So she asked me that if you can give some khichdi for Guru Maharaj, so we can serve him because it is late night and we don't have time to make other things. So I said, okay, Mataji, it's fine, you can serve him. So they take some khichdi and offer to Krishna and they serve to Guru Maharaj. So for this incident, I think that how spiritual master, how Guru Maharaj accepted my offerings, service which I wanted to do for him, and how he know that I have a desire to serve him. So this is very close to me. Now also I remember this past time. But lastly I have to say, thank you Guru Maharaj, thank you Guru Maharaj for accepting me as your disciple. I will try to serve you as much as I can, because he said to me that in my initiation I asked him what services I can do for you to please you. So Guru Maharaj said to me that serve as needed. So this instruction I will follow as much as I can. I will try to follow this instruction. Hare Krishna. Thank you Guru Maharaj. Hare Krishna. All Gurus Guru Maharaj, all Gurus Prabhupada.
So how much time I have? Okay. I have to be news anchor, right? Each. Yes, so I won't say any mantra, it's in the mind. I'll go straight. I met first time Guru Maharaj in ISKCON Youth Forum in Carter in 2012 when I was a PhD student in that hospital. And I loves to meet young people. So I met this 30-second. He asked about me, what you're doing, fine, okay, keep doing. So I left. And fast forward, I've been not much serious, looking for, and trying to understand, being a scientist, you don't surrender easily. You're kind of very critical of especially religious things. So I was very critical of everything in ISKCON and in any general religious thing. So I was going very slow. Took me 10 years to kind of surrender, make a mind to surrender to anyone. So I moved to US and in 2019 in St. Louis, I was living in an ashram in temple during COVID. And that's where I thought I surrendered to a guru, started exploring whom to, and then I realized in my heart that I already met my Guru Maharaj 10 years back. So I reached out to him, and that's where Priya, my wife, told. So we went to India for initiation. it's very hard to catch Guru Maharaj. Yeah. Every week he is in different city, and you don't know next week where he's going. So he was in Pune, and I was in Vrindavan, waiting that he'll come Delhi, then it changed. Delhi weather get bad, he went to Juhu. We fly to Delhi, waiting Delhi, okay, he'll come next week, never comes. So we spent 4 days in Delhi temple, waiting, doesn't come, we fly without telling him to Mumbai. I straight go to his room with the bag and everything, said, Guru Maharaj, I'm here. So, and he's like, where were you? So I'm like, okay, maybe he's asking where were you just yesterday, and you need to say, where were you? That's 10 years, you know. And then he's saying, give me 3 minutes more, if that's okay. Okay. So then, my initiation is very kind of unique. So I met and we had conversation while my wife was cooking khichdi and all. We had 1 hour conversation about everything. And then he says, tomorrow in Khargar temple, I'm giving you initiation. I was like, okay, so what to do now? So he said, okay, come and live with me tonight. And tomorrow morning, Mangalarti is your initiation. It was Christmas, on December 25, Sunday. And then in the morning, he gave initiation in front of Srila Prabhupada because DT's get, door is closed and they're dressing. So he initiated me in front of Srila Prabhupada, and very unique, I have a recording of it. Every offenses he was asking me, he asked me, do you remember offenses? I said, no, I don't. So he was telling first word and I was repeating last other words. And likewise happened. And he told me this offense number 7 is very important. And when you become devotee, you think that you can do anything in the name of chanting holy name. You can, you can say anything, you can criticize, and in the name of bhakti, and you can be leader, and you kind of suppressing everyone. So don't never ever do that. Is committing offense in the strength of chanting holy name of the Lord. And then ask my service, and he's like, okay, you are a scientist. Prabhupada would be very much pleased if you serve to scientific community, this message, spread it. And then he asked, take my number from his servant, God gave his number and said, call me every month. I was like, okay, it's not gonna me how to do that. So anyways, so I've been talking to him every month almost, so far, 2 years. And last call I had in April, last call I had with him on a phone call late night from India. And every time this is last 1 minute I speak, every time I call him, we had a conversation, I never record it generally. Generally it's more of 5-minute talk, how are you, what you're doing. But at the end he will say, keep in touch with me, he will say. But this April call, very short call. I had some life problem, got solved with his mercy. He was very happy that he was like, I told you, it will work. You were not listening to me. And like a kid, it's like, I told you. And like, okay, yes, Guru Maharaj, it worked. So, and then he said, talk to Jagannath Priya Prabhu, keep in touch with him. Be in touch with him, and also Janardhan Maharaj, he comes in US. Be in touch with him, and also keep in touch with me. Can I call you in one day, 1 or 2? I was like, okay. So yes, Guru Maharaj, I will keep in touch. And that was the last conversation. And then he said, I am exhausted today. I want to sleep. I'm tired. I was like, now I remember what he means to say. Like he was transferring me to a senior devotee, my god brother, and sannyasi, and telling that, I'm now exhausted from this world and going back to Krishna and Prabhupada. So I don't know what I did for him. I have not done anything, but Guru Maharaj very much compassionate towards me, and I pray if I can do anything for her with his mercy and Prabhupada, mission of Prabhupada and all the devotees, everyone. So that's his message. Thank you so much, Prabhu, allowing me extra minutes. And all goes to Guru Maharaj. His Holiness Gopal, Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Now we invite Her Grace Limanji.
There's so many great Vaishnavas speaking worldwide about His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Actually, I feel quite unqualified even in this assembly to speak about him. His mercy in my life is just a speck in all that he has done for Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. But I must take this opportunity to relive the years of his mercy in my life. As I was thinking what to speak, I realized that Maharaj was the first sannyasi whom I heard from in ISKCON. And this was in a very small town north of Delhi called Chandigarh. So, and it's ISKCON temple in Chandigarh. It's not a very popular temple in the landscape of global ISKCON, but a very powerful place for North India. So this temple is embodiment of Maharaj in my life. The temple was running under his shelter and under his guidance from the very onset. And this temple is actually one of the best gifts I've received from my parents, and they happen to be here today. They have come visit here after 14 years and they are right here. So my father had constructed our house in Chandigarh in 1976, and Maharaj purchased the land of ISKCON Chandigarh temple in the same year, right opposite to our house. The year I was born was the year the temple opened. And of course, I'm revealing my age here. 1978, the temple opened. So the deities, the way it's placed is that the deities are facing to a lane of houses, which is separated by a two-way lane, two-way road. So there's a road that separates the temple and the houses where we live. So my house is so near to the temple that I can hear Mangalarti from my room. So Maharaj's disciples made us life members. We regularly will get excited to receive entire tray, like a big tray of Rajbhog, Prasadam, just walking down the street to us. Devotees have left shoes and still leave their shoes in our house during big festivals like Rath Yatra, because the temple is overfull with the cars, they have parked cars in our house. And my mother, you're right there, Happy Mother's Day, had taken me to the temple almost every day to feed the cows that used to reside in the temple. And during some time, the disciples of Maharaj will do Prabhat Feri in the morning, like the chanting of holy name around 4:35 in the morning, going all around our house, I have very fond memories of waking up, as an alarm clock from that chanting. It has left so much sweet memories in my life. And this was when I was in high school, so very much needed. Maharaj's disciples were closely involved in my marriage and facilitated that in the temple. So we still live there, and when I visit my family, it's like going to a neighbor, like going to the temple is like going to a neighbor whom I have grown up with. So the temple exists and has been functioning under the mercy and shelter of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I will forever remain indebted to receive doses of His mercy in such formative years of my life. And I'm deeply indebted to my parents to create that opportunity for me. So just as last 30 seconds, the Chandigarh temple is north of Delhi, and this was the hub. Like this was the first temple in my estimation. I have to still do the little bit of more work in getting the data. But this was the only temple in north of India back then. And now there are temples in Himachal Pradesh, Kurukshetra, and Haryana, all these adjoining states. It's all the effort that Maharaja's disciples have made under his shelter and under his guidance to spread, I think there are about 10, 12 temples around now. Like even ISKCON of Kurukshetra has come after ISKCON of Chandigarh. So thank you all for giving me this opportunity, and I pray to Maharaj to give me a drop of mercy and his dedication to serve Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Now we request Nani Maji to
Hare Krishna. My meeting with Maharaj is actually from the ISKCON Nairobi temple in Kenya. I grew up into that movement, into the temple, so I remember every time Maharaj would come, it would be such a glorious occasion, everything would be decorated. I remember, like for the longest time, I honestly, till I was 5, until I actually understood the philosophy, I didn't think Prabhupada had any of the disciples about Gopal Krishna Maharaj because he was the GBC there. So I just thought, oh, like he's Prabhupada's disciple and we should follow him. My first service for Maharaj was making a garland for him. And every time anyone would go and offer a garland to him, he would ask, is this offered? If it's not offered to Prabhupada or if it's not offered to the deities, he would not wear it. He would really refuse, and he would feel bad, but it was his etiquette that it had to be offered. And there was a time I made a garland, and I put like petals up here, and I think it was very uncomfortable for him. So someone was introducing us to Maharaj, and they're like, oh, Maharaj, he made a garland, and he very softly, corrected me and told me, you should put straight flowers up here because then it doesn't hurt my neck. So that is why whenever I always make garlands, I always, like for Prabhupada or anyone, I always put straight flowers because it came from Maharaj. Or even if I do it for the deities. The other times, like whenever Maharaj would come, devotees are like waiting downstairs for the elevator to come. And Maharaj has gone up the stairs, like there's 2 or 3 flights of stairs, Maharaj has just gone up. He doesn't like wasting any electricity or any light. The Kenya temple, everything, like Prabhupada, yes, brought the Bhakti Vihari deities, but to make it the way it is today, to actually do local preaching there, which is amazing. Like he's able to preach, to the local Kenyan devotees there in their language, being Bhagavad Gita translated in Swahili. We have Krishna Balaram farm. 4 temples actually now in Kenya, all his mastermind, all his projects. So my personal relation like with Maharaj, I think I was around like 7 or 8. I was in the temple room. It was Chandan Yatra, so my mom, it was like 4 p.m. So my mom was doing parikrama in the temple, and I'm, scrubbing Chandan for the deities, and Maharaj walks in. So of course everyone bows down, and Maharaj is like, oh, you should continue, make sure you serve deities however you can. So he met you where you are. There was a time we were like in class, and I really wanted to serve and make the deities garlands like his deities. So one of the Maharajas just called us from behind. He's like, oh, would you like to make the deities? And he just fulfilled our desires right then and there. The last is when my sister and I moved to Manipal. Maharaj recognized us, even if we're not in Kenya, and he's like, oh, these are the girls from Kenya. And that was shocking to me because we're not disciples of him. My parents, yes, were disciples, but he was able to recognize both my sister and I. And he goes back home to Kenya and he's like, I've met your daughters. And he's telling them. And the next time also when he comes, like, we're very shy to meet Maharaj, so we're standing behind. He's like, oh, those 2 are the girls from Kenya. He points at us and he calls us in front, and it's just very shocking to me that out of all the, thousands of disciples that Maharaj has, he's able to pinpoint and realize, oh, this 2 other girls from Kenya. So I think Maharaj has always had a big impact in my life, because had he not created the environment that he did in Kenya, I don't know if I would this strongly understand the love and dedication he had for Prabhupada. So thank you, and I hope, like, if you see Maharaj's journey, the way he was so very stubborn, I would say, in doing every single thing. I think he just wanted to give us a lens of what Prabhupada gave him. Like, he's like, oh, Prabhupada used to also give class, when he was sick. Prabhupada used to do that. And, what a character that he wants to give us the way Krishna consciousness was given to him. So I hope we can all imbibe that, and I hope I can always find that mercy. Thank you so much for speaking.
Now we invite Gopal to speak to us.
Hare Krishna everyone. So I was very hesitant if I should glorify Maharaja or not because I am the most unqualified here in front of all the senior devotees. But then my brother said just for your own purification you should. So whatever I am going to say today is for my own purification, and if I do any mistakes, just forgive me. So I was fortunate enough to meet Maharaj this February while I was back in India. And then I met Maharaj, he told me, I told him I live in Boston, and he looked into my eyes and said, 72 Commonwealth have. Though this is not Maharaj's own, and he remembers each and every temple by address, and I was shocked because I myself don't know the 72, I just know Commonwealth have. So he just knows exact address. So these are few anecdotes that happened with me. And then I would share, because I come from Delhi temple, so I heard a lot of inside stories. So I would just want to share a few of them. So as Mataji was saying that Maharaj has a lot of siddhis, he never showed that. So in 1995, when Maharaj had an open heart surgery, in night when he was sleeping, he tried to take water which fell from the table. And his servant back then, I think Archit Prabhu, just went into the room. And he saw that Maharaj was sitting onto the lap of Prabhupada, and all the Guru Parampara was standing there. So in the next morning, when after the Mangal Aarti, Archit Prabhu went up to Maharaj and asked Maharaj, what did I see yesterday? Maharaj said, nothing. Then he again asked Maharaj, what did I see yesterday? So Maharaj said, just forget about it. So Maharaj never showed his siddhis. Maharaj recently met Bhageshwar Dham Baba, as you all know. And Vivekendra Prabhu make him meet Bhageshwar Dham Baba Prabhu, and Maharaj very gently said Bhageshwar Dham Baba that Jadoo kam dikhaya karo aur bhakti mein logon ko aage badhao. So Maharaj knows that these are possible, but he can do that. Just one last thing, that Maharaj deity worship is, as all of have been saying about it. Like sun can forget to raise, moon can forget to set down, but if Maharaj is in a temple, he won't forget to get into the Mangal Aarti at 4 a.m. except on the days when he's not there. So I have a list of it. I thought I'll get more time, but because it's only 3 minutes, so I just pray from Maharaj to give even a drop of mercy. And I was unfortunate that I was just preparing to get into the initiation, but I was not able to get that. So I just prayed from Maharaj that wherever he is, he just drops his mercy on us. Shri Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai.
So, as we gather here today, honoring the life and teachings of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, now we invite Maharaj's God brothers and God sisters to take the mic and begin. I'd like to invite His Grace Gopal to speak for a few minutes. Let's Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki.
Hare Krishna. I did it. I'm very junior disciple of Prabhupada. I didn't meet Gopal Krishna Maharaj ever, but I've known about him for so many years and followed his, not followed closely, but I've known of his great service for almost 60 years. And the devotees of his quality, devotees of his purity and dedication to Prabhupada are the most valuable people in the world, and they are the ones. And we have P.R. Mohan Prabhu and his wife Jivanoshini Mataji here. They're also great senior disciples. Gopal Krishna Maharaj is some of the great foundation blocks of the ISKCON tree, and we just have to appreciate and be thankful for them and for all their service. His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj ki jai.
Yes, thank you. The request is this Paramount problem.
So, now we request for Grace Yomatri to offer.
Hare Krishna. Gopal Krishna Goswami. I unfortunately didn't have any personal association with Maharaj, but we all need heroes, we all need inspiration in our devotional service. And I'm deriving great inspiration from Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and even now from hearing all these stories that are coming to light about Maharaj. We're hearing more and more about his greatness. I'd like to think that my husband and I, have some connection with him through Srila Prabhupada's dream to Gopal Krishna Maharaj to open his center in Connecticut. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, when he was a householder, he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada asking if they could open a center, the preaching center in Connecticut. And it never came to light. I mean, he didn't do that, but my husband and I have been there for some years, so we like to think that we have some connection with Maharaj in that way. But Maharaj we're so fortunate to have such a wonderful example in Maharaj for the perfect disciple, the perfect guru, the perfect Vaishnava. Everything that he does is in the service of his spiritual master, for the pleasure of Krishna. And Maharaj, I heard from Shamasundar, not the one who wrote Chasing Rhinos, but another disciple Prabhupada had named Shamasundar, that when him and his wife were on their way to Delhi, I believe, they were in a taxi between Vrindavan and Delhi. They had a very terrible car accident, and as a result of this accident, both of them were in contractions and were, immobilized. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj found out about this, and he put them up in the Delhi temple, and not just for a few days, not just for a few weeks, but for 11 months. And they said that they never felt to be a burden on anyone. They were taken such well care of. One thing I really like about Gopal Krishna Maharaj is his dedication to Srila Prabhupada, how he said that he never took one step out of ISKCON. And if you look at his will that he gave for his disciples and followers, his dedication, his chastity to Srila Prabhupada is evident in that. And I really liked it when he said that Prabhupada is never wrong. That was like one of my first realizations about Prabhupada, that everything he said is exactly the way it is. You can trust him. And Gopal Krishna Maharaj's life is a testament to that. His belief in Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada's mission. And we're just so fortunate. I'm so thankful to have him as an example in our spiritual life for us to follow. But I do regret that I didn't get any personal association, but He lives forever by his divine instructions, and the follower lives with him. I think anyone can imbibe from his instructions, which are the same as Srila Prabhupada's. We can see that. That we will derive the inspiration to continue in our spiritual lives. That's about it. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. What was Gopal Krishna Goswami?
Hare Krishna, agencies for Vaishnava and Vaishnavis here. If I've made any offenses, which I probably have done, I please ask that everybody forgive me for the offenses that I made. I know Maharaja, I spent some time dealing with him in LA. Mr. Krishna Bhagavad Gita, he was a good friend. He never criticized me, he always said something nice to say to me. When you're living in LA, you're there with a bunch of pundits. If you say one thing that's not right, it doesn't have the right period, or it's not pronounced correctly, everybody's going to be like on you. But he was always a very, very sweet person. I used to be in charge of the bakery in Los Angeles, so I made a lot of friends over the years. I remember he didn't like honey, caramel, hazelnut cookies. I used to make those cookies for him. And there was a GBC meeting there one time in LA. And Savasky was the temple president. And I was in charge of the Dars and the Pujari and a lot of other services at the temple at that time. You had to do what you had to do. And I remember him telling me that they wouldn't start the GBC meeting. I thought there was some problem or something. I thought, there was some bad guy coming in. I had to go take care of the other devotee. He said, no, we're not going to start the GBC meeting until we get some prashadam from the bakery. So that was some of the pastimes I had with him. When I was leaving India, I was sad because I was leaving Vrindavan. I was the Pujari in Vrindavan for Krishna Balaram and Srila Prabhupada in the Samadhi. And Lokanath Swami was there at the airport, Bhakti Churu, Maharaja. And he asked me where I was going. And then I told him Maharaja I was going back to America because the GBC wanted me to go help with another temple. And the last thing he said to me is, Gaur Prasad, you shouldn't leave India, you belong here. So there was no experience. And I saw him at Rath Yatra. He always just gave me a big hug. All the boys, they were like my big brothers and my big sisters in Krishna consciousness. And he gave me a big hug. He was very happy to see me. And he didn't have to say very much because I kind of understood a lot. Like one time I was with Pierre Mohan. He was saying something to me and another old devotee, Janarishi. And he only said a few words. And with a few words I could understand everything that he was meant. Because these great souls, and his wife also included these great souls here, they were all part of Prabhupada's mission. Lord Chaitanya broadcasted that how Srila Prabhupada would come here to America and spread Krishna consciousness throughout the whole world. Listen to the Vyasaki. And he said that, but it also meant that included the disciples who came here and started Krishna consciousness. You see, these old devotees, they never waver or anything. They give me enthusiasm to even some of the people I knew from the Korean mosque, who we haven't lived, they still appreciated and respected him so much. Being very sad that I won't see him at Bhakti Ashram, but I'm very happy for him because I know that he's with Srila Prabhupada and the other devotees in Global Vrindavan. And he's showing us how to get there. He's showing us how to get there. And so he's going to always be around for me in his books, in his tapes, and the people that he associated with. This is a man's, I heard once a person say that a man's character was judged by what people said about him. But greater than that is who the person was, who the person is. Because that aspect is judged by Krishna. Krishna must have thought a lot about him to bring him here. Hare Krishna.
Now we'll have the Gaura. We can raise
Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Bhagavani Bhakti Asutala Saraswati Srimad Savangre Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Pramsika Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Purnam ki Jai. Purinam ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai. Purnamai ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Gopi Ballabha ki Jai. Panchagana Baladev Subhadra Devi ki Jai. Shri Gornita ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Srila Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Samadeta Bhaktavinda ki Jai. O Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gurunanda.
Now we have the most long awaited and you hear the topic from today's guide module. Later on at 6:30 we'll have the Pushpanjali ceremony and then we'll do the Guru Puja. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes? I'd like to say a few words about Krishna Maharaj. First of all, I'd like to thank all those devotees who spoke and said some very wonderful things, just reconfirming what I already thought, but helping me see even more and more how he was such a servant soul to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was his life and soul, and he demonstrated it by every action, and he was such a wonderful devotee. I'm going to start from in chronological order. The first time that I don't think I actually met him personally, like introduced to him or talked to him, but in 1971, I was going to the Brooklyn Temple on Henry Street, the old temple. There's an echo, I don't know if that bothers anyone besides me, but I don't know if you could adjust that. But on Henry Street, I was chanting 16 rounds a day, following regular principles, but I did live in the temple. And at that time, at least the way I thought, is the only devotee if you live in the temple. So, but I would go every day, and I would, can everyone hear me okay? Okay. Yeah. So I'd go every day to the temple, and the ISKCON Press was very close, just 3 blocks away from the temple. And the devotees from the temple worked at ISKCON Press, and I would go every day and help out printing Prabhupada's books or pamphlets or whatever we did at ISKCON Press. And at lunchtime, we'd go to the temple, and many times at lunchtime I saw Gopal Krishna. He was not a sannyasi at the time, he was actually married at the time. I saw him there. He saw me. I don't remember if I ever talked to him because there's like over 100 devotees in the temple. I'm just this new guy, new kid on the block who's just, just doing whatever little service I can do. But that was for about 3 months, and I saw him there often like that. Then the next time I saw him this is a very wonderful experience. I was distributing books, and I went to the press to get some more books, ISKCON Press. But at the time, the history, the way things were, I was from Boston Temple. So I'm going to New York and we're distributing books in the new upstate New York in the New York zone. So we had to do it illegally. We couldn't let them know we were doing this. So we were distributing books. So I went down to get the books from the press. And I used to work at the press. I mean, not that I got paid, that's why I did my service. So there was only one devotee at the press, and that was very unusual. So I asked, and they said, well, Prabhupada was at the temple and he's leaving or something to go to the airport. So anyway, what I did was I got back in the vehicle. They didn't tell anybody because New York kept this a secret. Amazingly, how they kept it a secret from the rest of ISKCON, but they did because they didn't want everyone to come. They already had over 100 devotees there. So in any case, I picked up my devotees on Sankirtan and we went, and while we're driving in the van, we're changing into devotees while we're driving in the van from the army corps. And we're all over the place trying to put the devotees on, because no one would go in front of Prabhupada without a devotee on, like you just felt uncomfortable. So we got to the temple, Prabhupada just comes out and he gets into his vehicle, and they gave him a picture of Radha Govinda. It wasn't like today, you can take a digital picture and print it on your machine, your printer, but they had a Photoshop at the press. So they took Prabhupada mentioned that these look very beautiful that day. So they took a picture, they printed it, they gave it to Prabhupada, and when he was leaving, and they put it up to his head, and then he drove off, and then we were following him. Anyway, to make a long story short, get back to the Gopal Krishna Maharaj part. We got to the airport, and fortunately, myself and the two devotees who were traveling, book distributors with me, we all got into the airport, and we got into Prabhupada, the room Prabhupada was in. They gave Prabhupada a room. But the room fit maybe 25 people, and there's like 150 people outside the room. And Gopal Krishna, he was outside the room, he was in the doorway, and Prabhupada saw him, and Prabhupada called him into the room. And he went like this, like he said, I just came from work, and he had on his army clothes. So he felt bad to be in front of Prabhupada with his army clothes. And Prabhupada said, no. He said, you are the true sannyasi, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. And this, he told him this while he's the household, but he told him that he was the true sannyasi. And many years later, I mentioned this to Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and Gopal Krishna Maharaj has such a perfect memory. He remembers everybody, everything, he's just perfect. But he didn't remember that. It's like, he doesn't remember the glorification of himself, but he remembers all the good things about everybody else. He was such an exemplary devotee. I remember thinking in the past that I was so happy, to meet Prabhupada, but I was also so happy that by Prabhupada's mercy, I associated with the most wonderful people in the whole world. There's no better people in the world than these devotees that Prabhupada had made. That's the way I felt. And now more devotees that are being made in the same line. But I was so fortunate. And hearing about Gopal Krishna Maharaj, it's like I had this association. I was so very, very happy. So in the room, Prabhupada starts talking to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And he's talking to everybody, but Gopal Krishna is standing there because this is right after he invited him in the room. And he said, wherever grains are nicely kept, there's a good leader, and there's no quarrels in the household. Automatically, Lakshmi Devi will come into that home. You don't even have to invite her. And then he asks Gopal Krishna, so you recently got a raise? And Gopal Krishna said, yes, Prabhupada. And he said, you should give that money to Bali Madan, who was the temple president. And he said, yes, Srila Prabhupada. It's like he worked hard, he got a raise, and he has to give it to the temple. But of course, he is very happy to give it because he gave his whole life to Prabhupada. So that was a really nice thing that Prabhupada gave Gopal Krishna Maharaj some very special attention because he could see this is a real, really great soul. We don't know what he could see, who he is in Krishna Lila. I don't know what he saw, but he saw that he was exemplary and he gave him some special mercy. So this is a little bit off the subject, but right in that same room, Prabhupada took the picture that they gave him earlier of the deities and put it on the end table, and then devotees gave him watermelon, gave Prabhupada watermelon that was just cut up, all the seeds taken out. They didn't have seedless watermelons at the time, so they took all the seeds out in little squares. And then after that, someone is offering him incense and doesn't know where to put the incense. So she gave it to her husband, and then her husband, who was probably my temple president, he didn't know where to do it, and Prabhupada motioned to give him the incense. So they gave Prabhupada the incense, and he took a piece of watermelon off the deity plate, and then he put the incense into the piece of watermelon. And everyone was Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, but then the next time I had something else to do with Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I was in India. I went to the Delhi temple. At that time, I think there was only one Delhi temple, and it wasn't where it is now. It was in Greater Kailash. Has anybody been there? You've been to that temple? Yeah, I don't know when they moved to the new temple, but it was a long time ago. They had this old temple. So I went there, and the temple president, they had no room for me at the temple. It was much smaller than they have now. Right? So he told me that right down the street is a hotel. So I went to the hotel, and they were all booked up. So I came back, and there was a sannyasi there. I don't know who it was. I've never met him before. He wasn't from America. He wasn't an American devotee sannyasi. And he wasn't Indian either. I think he was from South America. But anyway, he told me that Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he said that if any of his godbrothers come to the temple, they can use his quarters. So I told the temple president, he was kind of reluctant, but he agreed because he knew that that's what Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So I keep my room. I don't want anybody in my room, staying there when I'm not there. But he's so detached. If any of his godbrothers can stay in his room. So I did stay there. And actually another godbrother came that I knew, and he also stayed there with me. So we stayed there for, I don't know, maybe a week. But that's an example of Gopal Krishna's hospitality. He's the best, really the best. And then another time, I went to Delhi. This is not the same trip. And they were at the new temple. So the first time I went to the new temple. And I'm there. I came, I don't know what time I came, but I got up from Mangalarti the next morning. And I saw Gopal Krishna Maharaj, of course, doing Mangalarti. So I never really had any personal dealings with him. I saw him, we saw him at lunchtime in 71. Then I saw him with Srila Prabhupada in probably 73. That was 73 at the airport. And I didn't have any much personal dealings with him. And then, so after he's doing the arti, the way it is in Delhi is they have like a fence around the altar. And there's one devotee standing inside the fence with Gopal Krishna, helping him, passing him the different articles, whatever it was, he was assisting. So after he came and he offered everything to the devotees, he told that devotee something. And then after Arti, that devotee came to me And he says, Gopal Krishna Maharaj said that you are a very senior devotee and that I should take care of you. Nice, take care of you. And it's like, I never remember talking to him. All I did was see him. I mean, I know him because he's a famous devotee. I'm like, I don't even think I may have been the temple president at that time. Because I was probably the temple president of Connecticut at that time. Because I've been there since 1981, so I think it was probably a little after that I went. But I was just so impressed how he can remember me, how he knows me from them. And of course, this devotee, he had me go to the restaurant and I could eat there for free, and I was very, very thankful. Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And the restaurant in Delhi, oh, it's really good. We had so many choices, all you could eat. Then I was with Maharaj in a room with a few other devotees also, and we were talking at that time. That I remember having a conversation. Then he's asked me about, he asked me once about this devotee who's coming to our temple, and he's doing service there. And I didn't even know who he was, because he wasn't initiated, and so he asked me, how's he doing? What service? I said, I don't even know who he is, And he's thinking that this devotee is saying he's doing service, and he's not doing service, or something like that. So the next time this devotee went to see him, he said, why is it Bihari Mohan's telling me you're not, you don't do any service or something? But I didn't actually say he didn't do any service. I just didn't know who he was or what he did. Then I found out just recently that he used to get the milk from Gitanagari once every few weeks. They had 4 people, once every 4 weeks to get the milk from Gitanagari. And he also sold some books. And it's like, Gitanagari, getting the milk from Gitanagari, that's service for Gitanagari, I didn't count that. And selling the books, I didn't know he was even selling books. So I really didn't know him. He wasn't initiated. Now he's initiated, and he's of course initiated by Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and he's a really good devotee, and I know he does a lot of service. And I call on him whenever I need something done, I call on him. So those are some of the things that with Gopal Krishna Maharaj, the personal experiences that I've had. And I'm just so pleased to learn so much more about him. After he passed, but I always knew he was a really, really, really good devotee. And I tried many times to get him to come to our temple in Connecticut, but I was not successful. And most of the times I found out that he never even got my emails that I sent him. I'd send an email and he would get it. So then I thought, I'm going to talk about when we were together in 1971. So I wrote an email telling him about 1971, quoting the letter from Prabhupada. Yes, you can open a center in Connecticut. And I quoted Prabhupada's letter to him. And then I did all these things thinking for sure they're going to give him that letter. And they didn't give him that either. And the only reason I know that because another disciple of Gopal Krishna Maharaj, he's now in Houston, Texas, but he's a really, really good devotee. And I told him, I said, I don't know. So he mentioned to Gopal Krishna, and Gopal Krishna never got the letter, so then he finally got the letter after he wanted to see the letter that I sent. But he was too ill to actually come. But at least he got one of my letters, and that's only after another disciple told him about the letter I wrote to him. But they didn't give it to him. It's like a behind the iron curtain type thing. Anyway, thank you very much, and thank you for this privilege of speaking about Gopal Krishna Maharaj. Gopal Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah. Thank you so much for such a heartfelt offering. So we'll now place to this Maharaj and Prabhupada our pushpanjali. ceremony. And His Grace Gopal who will be leading us in the prayers. And thank you so much. His Great, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaja ki Jai.
Okay, Hare Krishna, dear devotees. So we have to face towards this one. Okay, so please do that. Hare Krishna, so please face towards this one. And I request all the devotees who are sitting at the back, can you please make some space so that we can have some space to do the Guru Puja there. So please come in the back. We have plenty of space.
I request everyone except for maybe elderly.
Haribol.
Yes, I request everyone else to
Haribol.
please stand up for the Pushpanjali.
Haribol. Please give some space. Haribol, give some space. Sorry. Haribol, please give some space.
Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Iti namine Prabhupadasya Sahityam Yat Prakashasya Vitiricha Pracharam Kritvam Sadhu Bhagavad Padayate Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Ti Namine Shri Varshabhanavi Devi Daitaya Kripabdhaye Krishna Sambandha Vijnana Daine Prabhave Namaha Madhuryojala Premadhya श्री रूपानुग भक्तिदा श्री गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्रीमूर्तये दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धान्तध्वान्तहारिणे नमो गौरकिशोराय साक्षाद् वैराग्यमूर्तये विप्रलम्भर सांबोधे पादाम्बुजायते नमः नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंद नामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवरायते गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जन प्रियः वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधो दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जयतां सुरतौ पंगो मम मंद मतेर्गति मत्सर्वस्व पदाम्भोजो राधा मदन मोहनौ दिव्यद्वृन्दारण्य कल्पद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद् राधा श्रील गोविंद देवौ प्रेष्ठालिभिः सेव्यमानो स्मरामि श्रीमान् रासरसारम्भी वंशीवटतटस्थितः कर्षणवेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर् गोपीर्नाथ श्रियेस्तु नः तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले
श्रीमते गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी इति नामिने प्रभुपादस्य साहित्यं य प्रकाशाय वितिर्च प्रचारं कृत्वं साधु भगवत्पादाय ते नमः। एष पुष्पांजलिः। Now everyone can offer the flower petals to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and then to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur,
Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Gopal Krishna Goswami iti namine Prabhupadasya sahityam ya prakashaya vitircha pracharam kritvam sadhu भगवत्पादाय ते नमः। एषः पुष्पांजलिः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी इति नामिने प्रभुपादस्य साहित्यं यत् प्रकाशाय वितिर्च प्रचारं कृत्वं साधु भगवत्पादाय ते नमः। एष पुष्पांजलिः। जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, 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 वैष्णव ठाकुर, जय वैष्णव ठाकुर, Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya. चरणा पद्मा केवल भक्ति जहर प्रसादे Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Gopi Vallabh Radha Gopi Vallabh Radhe. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Premanande, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Samaveta Bhakta ki.
Hare Krishna. Everyone please face towards the altar now. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. Rama Rama. Hare Hare. Okay, let us express our gratitude before they leave to Her Grace. We can see Jiva Mataji and His Grace Pyare Mohan Prabhu. They came all the way for today's festival from Hartford, Connecticut. Let's give a big round of applause to both of them. Hare Krishna. We go. We're grateful to both of them. They have served this temple and ISKCON Connecticut a lot, and Prabhuji had done tremendous services, as we have heard from his offerings, and how he served ISKCON in various capacities, and he also got a chance to serve with His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Maharaj has many connections with ISKCON Boston, as you know, that many devotees here who are serving, they are disciples of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and or they got inspired from the devotees of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, or they got mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. But I also happen to come to ISKCON in one sense by the teachings of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj and his disciples, who pushed the book distribution in India, and where I did not know what exactly book distribution means, what exactly means giving away the books is, and they engaged me in that service, and I got somehow mercy of Srila Prabhupada. So I see that somehow the mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and also we have a couple of devotees who got initiated from here by His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and that is when I got a personal call, like I could able to speak to Maharaj. I remember His Grace Charan Renu Prabhu when he was getting initiated, and I did not know in my wildest dream that I will get a call from His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And he called me, and he was talking to me 10 minutes, and I was thinking, where am I? Like, who am I to actually get a call from His Holiness Goswami Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj? And I was talking various other things, and I was greatly indebted to his disciple Charan Renu Prabhu, and also to Maharaj, that me being such an insignificant fellow, just being a temple president doesn't become qualified to get an association of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. And second time I got an association again when our Giriraj Krishna Prabhu was getting initiated, and that time again I got same association on the phone via Zoom and so. And third time I got in India when I went to see Maharaj personally, and then Maharaj was kind enough to give me some time, even though his health was not good, showered his blessings upon us. So that was a few of the instances where I had opportunity to get mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, and various other ways. My entire family also got the blessings and mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj. So that's how I see that we have received the remnants of the mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, either directly or indirectly. So yes, so we can say that we are in one sense like now, as this ISKCON movement is a pushing movement, and is also is a descending movement, so where we get the mercy. He got instruction from his Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada in 1975 to distribute the books. That's when 1974 he became GBC member, and he was in December, and then he went to India 75 and 76. Where he got instructions by Srila Prabhupada that print books and distribute the books in entire India. And then Maharaj took that very seriously. So the same instruction what Srila Prabhupada got by his spiritual master, the similar instruction got to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj by his Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And we can see that how so many people they got into the fold of ISKCON by this one instruction, which Maharaj took so seriously. So we owe to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj and his disciples a lot. As we know that, like, as we are celebrating this festival, so many devotees have shared their heartfelt offerings to Maharaj, and I am pretty much sure that there are so many people who also might not know, whether knowingly or unknowingly, they might have received the mercy of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So let us take this opportunity and immerse ourselves, our mind, our heart and our soul in remembering His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj and his contributions and his amazing service to ISKCON as a movement, and also seek for blessings and beg for forgiveness. Yes, so today's the entire festival is being sponsored by our Purushottam Prabhu. He's here, so let us express our gratitude to him. And also we have His Grace Dasharatha Prabhu also. His son got graduated last week, so we have Dasharatha Prabhu also in the back. So Purushottam Prabhu, and also thank you. Purushottam Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So let us express our gratitude by chanting one Hare Krishna Mahamantra to both these devotees. So please join with me. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Those who would like to sponsor today's feast or or maybe next week's feast, the amount is $201. So you can see me outside if you are interested. That would be an offering to His Holiness Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So now